weeks ago on this channel, we were asking the question, what is a woman? Everyone wanted to know if we could come up with a definition for the word woman. And in that video, I reviewed Matt Walsh's book, What is a Woman? And talked all about the ways that he found a definition. But maybe Matt Walsh and I were all just on the wrong track all along. Maybe, if we wanted to find one singular definition, we just needed to look at what it said on the tin in the first place. Maybe we just needed to go to a little channel called Girl Defined. Well, unfortunately, I did go to the Girl Defined channel, and no, they don't define what it means to be a girl. Instead, the channel is just run-of-the-mill conservative propaganda. Now, we have followed Girl Defined on this channel a few times in the past, mainly to review one of their books and to talk about the boss babe business type of course that Bethany from Girl Defined has been regularly promoting on Instagram and building up to. And I told you guys that when her boss babe, Girl Defined Girl Boss course finally released, that I would be talking about it on this channel. And as of the other day, it looks like the course has been released and already sold out. Now, whether it's sold out or she closed registration to create false scarcity, that's something we'll talk about as well. But guys, get ready, because today we are going to talk about the course that took Girl Defined away from defining what is a woman and turned them into Girl Boss Boss Babes Christian Edition.
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.
Before we continue though, a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Skillshare, which is an online learning community featuring thousands of classes to help you explore your creative interests and develop new skills. From art to web design to book marketing and more, you can use Skillshare to find classes that match your interests, hobbies, and skills you want to develop. Skillshare has a variety of classes on topics I've been interested in, and it can be a great way to get an introduction to some topics that you've always wanted to explore as a hobby but haven't yet. For example, ever since I got breast reduction surgery earlier this year, I've suddenly gotten really into fashion since, clothes fit me now. So I've recently added a bunch of classes about introduction to fashion design and other fashion-related topics to my Skillshare library. And as I mentioned last month, my favorite class I've been taking on Skillshare so far is called Introduction to Polish Language, Master Polish Alphabet and Reading in Polish, taught by a woman named Weronika. I've been learning to speak Polish for about a year now, and this class has been an excellent addition to help me break down the pronunciation of words and understand the spelling patterns, which can be really different from how they are in English. I'm also excited to continue exploring more Skillshare classes, especially ones related to art and other hobbies in the future, because y'all, they have a lot of options. And because Skillshare is ad-free, you can stay focused while learning new skills. New premium classes launch each week, and Skillshare's entire catalog is available with subtitles in Spanish, French, Portuguese, and German. To join Skillshare, click the link in my description below, where the first 1,000 people will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. I hope you guys all enjoy learning on Skillshare as much as I have been, and thank you again to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. What's up, my fellow small business supporters? I'm Savvy, and welcome back to Savvy Writes Books, the channel where we talk about books and business, where today, once again, we will be covering Girl Defined. But if you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe, because multiple times a week, I put out new videos on this channel all about books and business, and you won't want to miss those, so make sure you ring that little notification bell as well. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out my second channel, Your Morning Guru, which is linked in the description below as well, which is where I live stream every single weekday morning at 7 a.m. Central, and also often do some writing live streams over there to get books written and things like that. It's a much more interactive show, and if that's something you're into, you'll really enjoy it. We have covered Girl Defined on that show as well, along with lots of other business guru types. Now, you guys may remember, I will probably put together a whole playlist about this at this point, but I have been covering the whole scandal of Bethany from Girl Defined launching her own girl bosserific course, She Works Smart, which has been the Instagram and TikTok page where she's been talking about how she wants to run a course to teach you how to run your own course, and that you can pay her to teach you how to make passive income with your course, which can be about anything you want. And I've been wondering, when is Bethany's course itself finally going to drop? When is she going to stop just drumming up interest and finally release what this course is to the world? Well, I'm not sure if this is the official She Works Smart course. However, just this last week, Bethany did finally release a course to the public, which she advertised on the Girl Defined YouTube channel as well as on her own Instagram. And in addition to that, she has now announced that the course is sold out. So let's take a look at Bethany's course, what it was offering, and all of that good stuff. First, let's start over here on the subreddit r/FundySnarkUncensored, which frequently covers the goings-on of Girl Defined along with other Christian influencer channels like Brittany Dawn and Paul and Morgan, and a lot of those channels which are creating some scams of their own in the name of Christianity, which is very weird. But this, about a month ago, first announced what this course was going to be, which is called Single Girl Thrive. So it says here, Bethany's gonna tell all the single ladies, cue Beyonce there, all the single ladies, right? All the single ladies how to thrive and live intentionally rather than waiting in misery. Now, these words are words we often see lots of business gurus using. People telling you to thrive. I believe there's even an MLM product out there called Thrive as well, but people talk about thriving and living intentionally, and those are usually terms that people use to mean quit your 9-to-5 job, don't serve a boss, join my pyramid scheme instead. Those tend to be a little bit of like MLM dog whistles that we hear, right? Now, someone using the word thrive and someone saying to live intentionally does not automatically mean that it's going to be related to a pyramid scheme whatsoever. That's really going to be dependent on the context. For example, I regularly tell Tyler that in the fall he is thriving because he loves making apple cider and he loves wearing plaid button-down shirts, and while I'm really into having strong girl summer where I just lift weights and walk around in just sports bras all the time, Tyler loves having fat boy fall, which is what he calls it. So anyway, he's thriving right now, okay? So there's nothing wrong with telling someone to thrive. However, it is a term that often I tend to be a little more skeptical when someone puts it in their branding because it just has been used so many times in the past in like girl boss courses and MLM types of things. But let's take a look at what the course has to offer. So this is what Bethany and Girl Defined posted on Instagram. It says, "Single girl, bookmark for later. If you find yourself in a season of waiting for marriage, I want to encourage you to do more than wait." Now, by waiting for marriage, they mean like waiting to have sex till marriage. Yeah, I think you can do more than wait. Like, I think you can go have as much sex as you want right now, but I don't think that's what they mean. I want you to thrive during this season. Season, that's another word that we often see. I know it's often used in Christian religious texts, so I'm sure that's kind of the reference there, but we have heard a lot of business gurus co-opt it all the time when they're trying to sell you self-help stuff like, let's get through this difficult season together. That's what a lot of self-help gurus say. It's very interesting how a lot of Christian language and self-help language and business guru language all kind of ties together. It's almost like they want to use like religious type of language to try to indoctrinate you into buying something from them. That's what I notice a lot of times, and it can be really creepy. For however long or short it is, choose to thrive. Bethany says choose joy. Actually, this is Girl Defined official page, so Kristen's there too. Kristen and Bethany, the Girl Defined sisters, they say choose joy, okay? As a woman who didn't get married until I was 30 years old, I can speak from personal experience. I can tell you that it is so much better to live intentionally than to live waiting in misery. Isn't that the Adam Levine? I am in misery, which is probably how he feels now because his affair was exposed, right? All kinds of weird stuff going on. That was great for lots of memes. Anyway, 30 is not that old. This is one of the things that I find really weird about kind of Christian fundamentalist communities. And by the way, just so everyone knows, I am respectful of everyone's religious beliefs as long as you don't try to force them onto other people. And I think everyone has the right to live however they want to in their own life spiritually as long as you're not harming anyone else. So if you're Christian and you think getting married young was a good decision for you, go right ahead. I mean, I was 25 when I got married, so I'm 30 now and I've been married for 5 years. So for me, yeah, 30s after I got married, but I also have a lot of friends and relatives and people who are, 30 years old, or they're 31, 32, and they're not married yet, or they're just getting ready to get married, or they're planning a wedding, or people who are like dating someone, but marriage isn't on their radar right now. So being in your early 30s and not being married, not having the government validate your relationship is not a failing in any way. And I think it's really weird how a lot of these, specifically it's often religious communities, they try to make everyone age quickly, which gives me a big existential depression because I don't like aging. I like feeling young and lively and full of energy. I don't want to feel like I'm getting old and my life is coming to an end just yet. So I feel like they try to speed up adulthood a lot, where it's like, oh, you're 18, it's time to get married. Not necessarily. And again, I'm not judging people for their own life choices, but for a lot of people, that is way too early. So I just hate this whole narrative of like, I was 30, guys. I was 30 and I still wasn't married. Like, I get that she's saying that like it ended up working out for her and that she's going to teach you how to thrive, but I just really hate that messaging was there in the first place in these communities telling you that was old. Because 30 is not old, guys. It's not old at all. Instead of dreading my late 20s as a single woman, guys, your late 20s is extremely young. I think that part of the problem is that people see adulthood as like one block of time. That people see like, okay, you have your childhood, you have your teen years, you have your 20s, and then everything else is just this vague abyss of adulthood. That's just adulthood. And then, you know, you eventually hit 60 and you can qualify for Social Security down the line or whatever. Eventually you can collect retirement or your pension or whatever you have. Then you're old. But before then, that's just a giant block of just adulthood. It's like, there's not just like 40 years of time that is just adulthood. You go through stages in life the same way you do. It's the bigger amount of time passing, and you have a lot more time to learn a lot more things. I think I'm someone who, I'm 30 and I'm developing new hobbies all the time. I'm learning new things all the time. I just recently, at 28 is when I started weightlifting, and at 30 is when I started boxing, so I'm learning new things constantly that I've never had any experience in before, that I've just started learning in my late 20s, early 30s, and I fully intend to learn more things and develop even more additional hobbies as I get older, because there's lots of time to learn new things, and I don't like this idea that like who you are when you're young is what you're set in stone as for the rest of your life. I think that that's a very dangerous way to view things. So I know she's saying she wants to not dread your late 20s as a single woman, but I just hate the idea that anyone would want to do that in the first place. There's nothing wrong, like your late 20s is not old. Anyway, let's continue. I decided to focus my energy on living like my life mattered. Well, it does. This is so sad. What do you mean, like it mattered? Oh my god. And also, I want to be clear, I also kind of hate how much messaging there is on the need to get married. Like, yes, this is a course that's being sold to teach you how to be comfortable with being single, but it's not how to be comfortable with being single for the rest of your life. This course is how to be comfortable with being single right now and knowing that the right man will come along. It's totally fine if you never get married. Not everyone gets married. I have friends and I have relatives. I have people in my life who have no interest in ever getting married to anyone, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's also, I have people in my life who are like asexual and aromantic and like just don't even want any relationship with anyone. I also know people who are, you know, lesbians and wouldn't want a man at all. Like, so I'm just saying there's such a variety of different experiences, and I hate that there's like, they just push so much of one narrative that's like, yeah, you might be single now, but you'll eventually have the right relationship. There is no one roadmap for how to live your life. It is totally fine to live your life pursuing the goals that make you happiest. Just be a good person. That's all that it matters at the end of the day. I don't know why this has to be so complicated. Instead of being miserable as a single person, I was incredibly joy-filled and passionate about my purpose. Honestly, I learned to love my single years. I genuinely came to the point where I was okay being single for the rest of my life. I don't believe that. I knew that God had a purpose for me, and I chose to thrive in that. So that's what Bethany says here, and of course, it has to be a course, because you can't be a girl boss and just talk about your life experiences and lend someone encouraging words unless you have something to sell them to earn money from. So let's take a look at what comes next. So someone a month ago on the Fundy Snark Uncensored subreddit says this might be a setup for her to sell her courses and books, TBH. How did I do it? Well, I'll show you. Just buy my book. You must be psychic, person on Reddit, because that is exactly what happened. This person brings up that this post doesn't seem fully genuine because it says, written by a woman who gave up a full-ride college scholarship, refused to get a full-time job, continued living with her parents without lifting a finger, and bought a wedding dress while single because she expected to get married at 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Really? Not even 25? Bethany, probably. I wouldn't call any of that thriving. As we pointed out when we reviewed Girl Defines, like the setup for the She Works Smart course in a previous video where Bethany was disparaging going to college, we talked about how it is pretty sad that she did get a scholarship to college because she was a very skilled basketball player, and she got an athletic scholarship to college and turned it down because she wanted to fulfill God's purpose of being a housewife and didn't think that she needed to go to college. Which again, there is nothing wrong with not going to college. If there is a career path you want to take in your life, or a personal path you want to take in your life that involves not going to college and that is not worth the financial investment, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, and I fully support you. But in this case, it's just that like she seems to want to be going down the girl boss path and wanted to kind of hinge her life on other people. Which, if that's what she wants in her personal life, that's fine. Just don't be selling courses to other people on how to emulate that. So this is Bethany's website here. It's filled with lots of pictures of her and her husband, Dave. Yes, he is a Dave. His name is Dave. Of course his name is Dave. What else would it be? Anyway, she and her husband, Dave, and their son, who I believe is named Dave Jr., and I believe she's pregnant again with another child. Now, I went to this site I had a link to the course that she was selling, and I went to go open it up, and look what happened. This happened. 404 page not found. Continue shopping. Her course is not for sale anymore. What happened? Well, let's take a look at some of the videos on the Girl Defined channel. So here we have one of their shorts on YouTube that says only 2 days left to register. Learning to thrive as a single woman. All right, Bethany, what are you selling me?
You have been putting off joining Single Girl Thrive, my 6-week live mentorship course.
6-week live mentorship course.
Time's almost up. There are only 2 days left to register. So if you've been putting it off, you need to grab your seat now at BethanyBeal.com. This is going to be a 6-week program where
So there were only 2 days left to register when she posted this, which was a couple days ago. I meant to film this video last week, and then I would have been able to pull up the course page, and I didn't, and now I regret that. I'm sorry.
I sit down with you every week, and we as a community, as a small group of sisters in Christ, get together to talk about what God's design is for women, what his purpose is for you as a single woman, how to thrive, how to really make the most of this season, whether...
Yep, exactly, right there. She even says this season. Being single is a season, implying it's going to change. You are a single girl right now, but of course you're going to find the right man in the future. Even though she tried to say in her post, yes, I had become comfortable with being single for the rest of my life. Nope, right here we can tell that that is not actually what she's saying.
Whether you ever get married or not, and really just...
Now she says whether you ever get married or not. So is it a season or is it a permanent life choice? Which is it?
Dig into your relationship with God and build community with other like-minded sisters. That sounds like something you would love, and you are like, yes, I would love to get intentional about this season of life.
Now, I want to say that, like, on the surface, this doesn't sound like a terrible idea, right? You find another group of people. There's a focus on building friendships rather than building romantic relationships. Because, yes, romantic relationships are incredibly important to a lot of people, but sometimes I do feel like when you reach this stage in adulthood, when you reach your late 20s, early 30s, people start expecting you to put your focus solely on romantic relationships and on family and not to care about building deep and long-lasting friendships. And friendships are incredibly important to me. So I think sometimes there are people who dismiss the power and the importance of friendship. So I will say that on the surface, there are parts of this that aren't such a bad idea. For example, finding groups of people that aren't in relationships and having them form strong friendships and build a strong sense of community, that's a good thing. I don't necessarily think that charging for it and selling it as a course is a good thing. And additionally, I think there should be focus on building friendships and community regardless of whether you're in a romantic relationship. You don't have to be a single woman to make strong and powerful friendships with other women. I think it should be absolutely fine to, be married with kids or married without kids and still focus on those friendships, or to be in a relationship with someone but not married and still build strong friendships. I think that there's a different type of fulfillment that people can get from, there's romantic relationships, there's sexual relationships. A lot of times those two things go together, but not always. And then there's also friendships on top of that. And you get different types of emotional fulfillment from everything. Or sometimes you get types of emotional fulfillment that cross over. But I think it's important to be able to build those connections and those communities with a wide variety of people. I don't think this needs to be a course that you charge people to join your 6-week course to figure out how to do this. I think that this is just something that should be culturally encouraged regardless. Once again, it's one of those things where it seems like you're charging people for something that we should all just be able to have by default. It's like you're charging people for human connection.
I would love to thrive as a single woman. I would love to go into 2023 feeling a renewed sense of hope and purpose and just not be tangled down with worry over the future or anxiety. You got to grab a spot. Like I said,
gotta grab a spot. Like, that's the thing. If you're trying to work on anxiety or you're trying to work on, being comfortable with yourself, that seems like something you would go to real therapy for. And again, I want to say there is nothing wrong with getting mental health fulfillment from something spiritual. That can be very fulfilling for a lot of people. It doesn't work for me personally, but for you, if that makes your life good, I'm not here to judge. Go ahead and do that. But I think that selling someone a course on this, charging people money to join a 6-week course on how to overcome your anxiety and be happy as a single woman, that feels kind of scammy to me. I think it would make much more sense if this were just like a community building type of program or something. I don't know.
Only 2 days left. Once registration closes, it closes for good.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't lying about that. I can't get the page up anymore.
I would love to see you there.
Single Girl Thrive 6-week live mentorship course. Learn to refuse the lies and thrive right where God has you. Refuse what lies? Because on the one hand, she's saying that, like, we're going to learn to overcome these lies that say that you have to be married by a certain age or that you can't, be fulfilled in life without a partner. And I agree with that, but she's also said that the course is going to be teaching you about God's plan for women. So this isn't really about trying to find your own purpose in life or find your own goals or pursue your own interests. It's still, at the end of the day, about having to follow what Girl Defined says God says that you have to do. This was kind of a similar issue I had when reviewing Girl Define's book, which I did this past January. In that book, I agreed with a lot of the things they were saying on the surface, such as things like a lot of companies try to sell us this image of femininity. A lot of social media tries to tell us that there is one perfect body type for women, or that there is one way to look, and that is the only way to be a woman. That is the only way to be culturally feminine in the right way. And I agreed that women shouldn't have to conform to any one specific way of appearing or way of behaving, that women should have those freedom of options. But they didn't take it in that direction. They didn't say, and because these things are judgmental to women, women should be free to do whatever they please. Instead, it was, you reject the cultural norms, and instead, you must follow God's exact roadmap, which is what we will tell you. This is what you need to do to be a woman. You need to follow this exact roadmap, reject this exact roadmap, and follow this one instead. And it's like, okay, why can't we just reject all predetermined roadmaps and instead find our own happiness, find our own goals, determine what makes us individually happy after trying out new things? It was, replace cultural femininity with biblical femininity. It was still a prescribed notion of how you have to behave as a woman. I wasn't really a fan of that. And so then this is the video that she posted recently. At the time that I'm filming this, she posted this 2 days ago, so I really did just miss the window to be able to open up this website. I shouldn't have napped so much on Monday. I should have filmed videos instead. Oh well, here we go.
This is it. This is the last day to register for Single Girl Thrive, my 6-week live mentorship course, where I get to walk with you and a bunch of other friends through things that I think are crucial to understand as a single woman, like how to trust God when your life isn't where you thought it would be, debunking a bunch of the lies, really digging deep into your relationship with Christ, but ultimately just learning how to thrive right where he has you.
Now, what I wanted to know was, like, what does this course include? Because even before the page was taken down, even when I looked at it, she didn't really give, like, much of a syllabus for it, right? So this is a course. I'm assuming we're going to learn things from her as the teacher. And if it's a 6-week course, I imagine there should be some kind of breakdown, like what are we doing in week 1? What are we learning in week 2? What are our learning objectives? What are we going to get feedback from her? Is this going to be interactive, or is she just gonna post a video and then we just watch it and then move along? I don't know. It was not very clear what these 6 weeks were going to be filled with.
Like I said, this is the absolute last day to register. So if you have been delaying, if you have been putting it off, this is it. This is your last chance. This is your warning. I hope to see you there, because tomorrow night, you and a bunch of us could gather together for an hour and a half, an incredible time of just connecting and growing and learning. Your life will not be the same at the end of this. It will be so much more focused and clear, and just you will have purpose and an understanding of where you're going, just to renew.
It sounds like these are like live webinars. She says they're going to gather for an hour and a half. So you get together for an hour and a half. She runs this like webinar type of sermon type of thing to teach you how to be comfortable with being single. And she does that for 6 weeks. Does she do it every day? Does she do it once a week? Either way, you have to pay $250 a person to join, which, to be fair, for a lot of business guru courses, that's not the worst price I've seen. But it does feel very overpriced for this.
Sense of hope. It's going to be an amazing time. Go to BethanyBeal.com for all the details, but remember, this is your last chance to join.
Final call. All right, final call. So of course, because this course, I love saying of course this course, of course, because this course costs money, in fact it costs $250 per person, Bethany doesn't want to let anyone feel excluded. She doesn't want to say that just because you can't afford $250 to go to this course that has nebulous information that may or may not be actually beneficial in your life, that if you can't afford it, that is okay. Because, as last week the Fundy Snark Uncensored subreddit point out, they grabbed a screen grab of Bethany's Instagram story where she talked about how she is giving out scholarships as well. Scholarship has the word scholar in it, so that implies that you're going to be learning something scholarly, you're going to be learning something academic, rather than just having a woman whose only claim to fame is being a Christian YouTuber just yelling at us about how we should be comfortable with being single. I don't know, maybe there is something to learn there and I don't know what I'm talking about, but let's find out. Let's look at what she is selling. So here's the grift, okay? Bethany offering these, quote, scholarships weren't meant to be a good deed. Duh, she still intends to get fully paid. So, Bethany said she was going to be offering scholarships to this course. However, Bethany herself doesn't want to actually be out any money. Girl Defined doesn't want to be out any money. They want to be fully profiting from what they're doing. So, instead of her giving out scholarships, she has made a program where you can gift out a scholarship to someone else. You can pay someone else's tuition, which, like, doesn't that just mean that, like, you would just pay for someone else? Can't you just pay for them and register them? Why is this called a scholarship? I don't know. Anyway, let's look at what it says. For this interested, I think she meant those interested, for this interested in giving a scholarship to a single woman. I love this. It's a single woman, not as in one woman, but as in a woman without a husband, because that's a single woman. Follow the steps. 1. Purchase a ticket for the Single Girl Thrive course. 2. Email me after you purchase the ticket letting me know it's for scholarship. 3. I'll select one single woman who's filled out the application and give it to her. 4. I'll email you the first name of the girl and woman getting the scholarship so you can be praying for her. Now, I'm not sure what she means by girl/woman in point 4, because this channel's called Girl Defined. I always thought the whole girl thing was just part of their branding, kind of like how you had girl wash your face and girl stop apologizing from Rachel Hollis. I thought it was just like a cutesy way to be like a girl boss. But since she says girl/woman here, she's differentiating girls from women, meaning women as in adults and girls as in children. So I really hope that people aren't paying for children to join this course about how it's okay to be single. Obviously, it's okay for children to be single. In fact, it's expected. And if by single you mean not married, I'd say it's required. There are some people out there who think it's okay for children to be getting married. Looking at you, Matt Walsh. But regardless, Matt Walsh is all woman is adult, human, female. But adult is the part of the word that is squishy for me. That's Matt Walsh. He's a creep. Anyway, I'm hoping that you have to be 18 to join this course, because it says girl/woman. That part is a little sus to me, okay? And if by being single as a girl, as someone under 18, they mean just being not in a relationship, that's also expected. Like, yes, I dated in my teenage years and things like that, but you don't necessarily need to have marriage on the mind when you're still in high school. And I hate that people try to indoctrinate kids with this. So many, like, Christians are out here, and guys, again, this is not all Christians. I'm only mad at the Christians who are doing this, okay? And it tends to be a lot of Christians who are doing this. There's a lot of Christians out here who keep trying to claim that the LGBTQ community is grooming kids when they're the ones who are trying to get high schoolers prepared for marriage and things like that. So it's absolutely hypocritical and disgusting. Now, I don't know, maybe the course is 18 and up only, I don't know. But regardless, Bethany is not going to give out any scholarships. She's saying that you can pay for someone else to join, and then she will gift it to someone for free. So I guess that way she still gets the credit for her course not being financially exclusionary, but also she doesn't have to be out any money at all. I cannot even begin to conceive of a person who thinks Bethany's courses are so important they'd buy one for someone else. My money is there will be exactly one person who buys a scholarship, and it'll be her mom. Or maybe it'll be Kristen, her sister, the other half of Girl Defined, just to plump up the numbers a little bit. And this presumes some poor soul has actually applied for a scholarship or applied at all. Yeah, okay, so I'm over here thinking this course is $250, which I think is overpriced for the type of material it's offering. I mean, I think that this course shouldn't exist at all, to be fair. But $250, while it is overpriced for this type of course, is also not objectively a lot of money. So if you're someone who needs a scholarship because $250 is a big expense to you, and this course is preying on you, oh, that's funny, that's a pun, because Bethany said, we'll be praying for her. Oh, that's a perfect, I missed a pun opportunity. Almost missed it putting it here. She said, you can be praying for her while Bethany is praying on her. There you go, just praying on her by taking people's money. That's what's going on here, okay? That's a great pun. I can actually see this being a, quote, good idea to scam more income from people. She can promote her course through family and church and tell others that even if they don't think the course would be good for them, they could purchase a scholarship for someone who, quote, needs it. If she can't gain actual students, she can still gain purchases through people gifting scholarships. I guarantee you she's going to use the total number of unclaimed scholarships sold as the number of students she's gained as well. That is a good point, because a lot of times people in the church like to promote, doing charity, gifting things to others. So if she can promote this as like a charity or promote this as a way you can donate to someone, she can then get even more promotion out of it. See, Girl Define, they're girl bosses above all else. They're good at gaining themselves publicity, they're good at gaining themselves a brand, and even if a lot of people dislike them, they still have brand recognition, right? So I would say Girl Define more like girl boss. Oh, you don't want some random judgy church lady praying for your misery to end by marrying literally any human person with a penis? Right? Imagine being someone who applied for a scholarship to this, or imagine being someone who's being gifted a scholarship. It's like, I know you don't have enough money to join my course to learn how to be comfortable with not being married right now. What? This is like the broken window fallacy. I feel like this is the church creating fake problems so that they can profit off of selling solutions to them. Because not being married is not actually a problem. Like, if you want to be married and you're not currently married, yeah, like, that's something that you can work towards, and there are things you can do. I think that marriage can be very important for a lot of people, but it's not like a real problem that you need to pay someone for a course to fix. This is like female pickup artistry. That's what this feels like. You know, like men will pay pickup artists, like people like Andrew Tate. Like men will pay people like Andrew Tate to help them gain access to women or whatever. This is just like the Christian girl version of being an incel. This is not cool. I mean, one prayer is one like, and the likes is what counts. It gets you to heaven and a scholarship. One. She's giving away one. Give me $249 and then I might give it back, teehee, and I will pray for you. Yeah, what if no one applied for a scholarship? Is she just asking people who don't even want the course to just pay her money for nothing? Is that what she's asking? Someone says no one will actually do this. Her parents' company will donate a few spots and use it as a tax write-off. That's probably what's going on here, to be honest. That's probably what's going on here. So I was a little excited to see a course being launched. However, I don't know if this is the official She Works Smart course or if this is just one course of many that Bethany is launching, because remember, we've been covering the She Works Smart page where Bethany's been talking about how she's going to be launching courses on how to sell courses and things like that, and how she wants to teach you how to make a course and how she wants to teach you how to make passive income. And this course, while it is a course that she's launching, is this going to just be something she uses on her resume to be like, look, this is my She Works Smart course. I'm going to teach you how to run a course now that I've sold a successful course on how to be a single woman. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to wait and find out. I will be continuing to follow along with She Works Smart and see if another course is coming out in the future. My prediction is that this is going to be the first of many because she's going down the girl boss path. But I'm interested in your guys' thoughts as well. There's more Girl Defined stuff to cover as well, so we're going to keep going with this. But I will see you guys again soon. In the meantime, keep on supporting small businesses. I appreciate you being here. Have a great start to your day. Bye!
Get you some nuts.
There was lots of memes.
Makes me wonder if I should take up lesbianism.
Chicago. You guys asked for it.